it's the Abstractionist. I did a quick video. It's like a short of me at like Home Goods, and I was like going through the aisles and I was just showing you guys videos. So if you watch that and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? It was just a short of me going through there, and it's about Saturn. So ways that my Saturn return has been shaping me and changing me, and I just wanted to allude to it in that video, but essentially here it is. I have not always enjoyed my Saturn return, but I respect the lessons that have come through. Saturn is not necessarily the most comfortable energy for me. My Uranus and my Neptune are in Capricorn, and they oppose my Mercury directly, but they also oppose my Sun, right? So there's a lot of issues with projection, self-awareness, and the awareness of others to me, and myself to myself, and myself to others, and others to me. There's things that I've had to work through and grow through that I'm just like, oh fuck, like this is just too goddamn much. But my Saturn return basically is here, essentially. So we're gonna just go ahead and wrap this bitch up. So ways Saturn has changed me. I feel my mortality a lot more, and that's just something. Watching people get older, it coming full circle, some of the lessons I've had to learn, some of the lessons I've had to learn with certain people who I now see, has really opened my eyes to the ways in which we change. Time kind of moves on, whether or not you forgive people, whether or not they are still alive, whether or not you have accomplished anything, whether or not you've gone for your dreams. Life still goes on, time goes on, and you can't really get that back. And you do have to move forward a lot. Sometimes moving forward can feel really like almost like an abandonment. So moving on can be like bring up an abandonment issue on its own, right? So let's say you have a really hard issue that you're working through. To leave that issue may feel like an abandonment of that issue, and that may trigger someone's childhood abandonment wound. And that's not a psychological thing that I'm bringing up. Like, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but I'm just saying that maybe a psychological exploration for someone, that even leaving your old habits and your old issues and your old baggage behind feels like an abandonment. And it can be an abandonment issue that's sparked. Another thing is I'm kind of vacillating between the old world, the old established world of class, money, structure, marriage, very fixed things, with the more free-flowing aspects of myself. I'll probably mention this stuff more on the Inter-Red Room because it's more personal stuff, but I am a lot more fixated on making money. I am a lot more fixated on stability. I am a lot more fixated on structure and class, and I don't necessarily feel ashamed of that, but I do feel like there is a sort of, moving into the old world. I'm in the old paradigm a little bit more. There is a little bit of rebuffing the new, rebuffing advancement, so to speak. And I think it's because I've just kind of seen how sometimes the new stuff comes in, and the old establishment of things, the old ways of doing things, even like social interactions or things like that, really make more sense. And new ways, new age things sometimes don't really get to the root of issues and don't really solve issues, and it kind of masks issues, and it tries to put on a good face. And a lot of new age delusion comes from not really wanting to deal with a lot of issues. And so for that reason, I am more into the old world because it feels like it's more straightforward. So I have a harder edge. I'm less, I think, naive, a lot less having expectations. I'm still, positive that the world is going to work out fine, but I'm less enthused about, I think, a lot of the movements that I've seen come and go. I'm a lot more weary of stuff. I'm a lot more conservative about things. I just kind of feel like the things that we put our effort into when it comes to larger social issues, a lot of them aren't really worth it because they're not using the right vehicles. The issues are not really the issues that you're talking about, and that a lot of the stuff that people are fighting for doesn't matter to them. They just want to be right, and I kind of feel like a lot of that stuff just is bullshit. So I think I've started to reject a lot of the newness of stuff, and I'm a lot more critical about certain things, and so it kind of just, it's just like I'm less interested in the new wave of certain things. That's how I feel. I've grown a lot more, I think, objective about things. I feel like I've matured quite a lot. I can plainly speak about what I want, what I need, what I don't want, what I don't need. And I'm just not as interested in trying to accommodate people when it comes to certain things regarding myself and putting myself making myself ass out to accommodate other people. I'm just not interested. I think I have way stronger boundaries. I'm just not interested. And I think a lot of the pushover kind of life that I lived before. And I think being willing to stand up for what you want is just really interesting. So I personally have enjoyed the fruits of my labor on the latter end of this Saturn return because I can see the growth within myself over the last few years, especially at least the last like 2 years. I know, especially, I feel way better the last 2 years, and knowing that I'm in a better position to take advantage of the opportunities that come my way, it feels good because because I know that I am just moving up. Like, I know that I'm moving up. I know I'm not regressing into old patterns. I can recognize patterns more. I can recognize old pieces of myself and let them go and move forward. And that's just a great thing to know that you can do that, to know that you can grow, to know that you can move forward past your old self, and to really fully embody it. It's just a great thing. So Saturn has made me more interested in establishing a home. Saturn has made me more interested in establishing like relationship romantically, willing to do the work. The old ideas of relationships, particularly the bitterness, has to be worked through still, but particularly as I have seen relationships. But I am more willing to understand that relationships involve two people who are not perfect. They're like, I think when you're younger, you have that sort of naivete, and that's where that twin flame video came in. But it's getting a lot more realistic. I'm getting a lot more realistic about myself, other people, the way the world works, the way people are, and not being as offended by that. Like the hard truths of how some people can really do you dirty, how some people are really good people, how some people are judged in society and perhaps should not be. Some people are getting away with a lot of shit that they shouldn't be, and it's not being okay with that, but it is accepting that that is something that goes on in the world. So very plainly able to see it, may not agree with it, but you can acknowledge it, you understand it, and you move forward. And then just realizing that certain things it's not worth fighting over. There's certain things that I just can't fight over. There's certain things that I just, because I can go there with the conspiracy and I could do deep dives, and that's probably why I'm going to make a Patreon for like that shit. But like some days you just want to go shopping and you want to go to Home Goods and you want to just look at the lamps or the towels and just have a very mundane experience. And I'm getting more like that. I just want to have mundane experiences. I don't necessarily always have to be in the ethers and in the clouds and all that shit. So yeah, so I am much more preoccupied with like material things, very material things, like home, money, things that will push me forward to obtain more tangible things in my life, like I said, like cash, bed linens, computers, phones. I'm very preoccupied with that, and building a legacy for children that I want to have, and understanding that the sacrifices that I'm making now go into their future as well. And it's a great time for connecting with ancestors. It's a great time for understanding ancestral lineage, blood, ancestral worth, ancestral, just like all of that stuff. So I personally find that Saturn, while it has whipped my ass for like 3 years in this sign and will whip my ass for 3 more and 3 more and 3 more and 3 more, it does clear out a lot of the shit that you need. And now as Saturn is wrapping up my 6th house of like health, have to get like a root canal and shit. I'm like, that's some bullshit, ain't it? But having to go through this health stuff, really taking seriously like issues that can really wreck your life if you are not prepared. Like taking your career seriously, taking your finances seriously, taking your health seriously, taking your networking capacity seriously, taking your home seriously, taking bills seriously. The day-to-day things, even though this is like Virgo, but the day-to-day things and the day-to-day structures that help you accomplish stuff. So even if you don't like your government, if you pay taxes and the government allocates money and it picks up your trash and it keeps your street clean and you're not like falling into potholes. I mean, some places in the world, like that shit still happens. But if you're not dealing with that structure works in some capacity. And I think the Saturnian part of me just understands that like ripping up entire systems and having a big ass void can be just as bad as being crushed under the weight of the established current system. And so you have to really, as an adult especially, because with children they like to rip up whole structures and rebel. Not all, but a lot. And a lot of the angst we go through as kids is because we want to upend everything. When you get older, you kind of understand that there are sacrifices and compromises that must be made, and it's just a whether or not you can deal with the weightiness of that compromise, I feel like. So there's that. So that's basically all I have to say. I'll see y'all in another one. Bye.